Okay, today's video is fried pies, homemade fried pies with peach filling. You can use any kind of filling. After they're done, you can sprinkle them with powdered sugar, or you can eat them plain. Your fruit does not matter. You can use any kind of a dry fruit, a canned pie filling. You can use any kind of a fruit mixture. You add water to your fruit to simmer. There's no measurements. Depends on how much fruit you have. You add sugar for your taste. No measurements. We're going to cook them down until they're soft. It may take a couple of tries for you to make them, get them right. It's one of those trial and error type recipes. You just have to use your common sense with it. Okay. We've got them simmering, just a good slow simmer. We turn the heat up too high, we're going to get them sticking. We don't want that to happen. If you use a prepared one, then you don't have to go through all this, but they're not as good as homemade fried pies. See, there's just enough. They're beginning to thicken up, syrup up. They're going to simmer probably about an hour because these were fresh, dried, frozen peaches off of my tree. Okay, while our fruit is cooking, we'll go ahead and make up our pie dough. We need 1 cup of milk, we need 1 egg, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Whisk this together. Okay, I've got 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt. Whip it together so you don't have a big clump of salt anywhere. Putting this in a big bowl so we can work it. Our 1 cup of shortening. It's just solid shortening, not vegetable oil. I'm just using a pastry cutter. We're going to work this until it's just little beady crumbs. Making fried pies is another one of those messy recipes, but well worth it. You don't find many fried pies in your home cooking anymore. It's an old-fashioned recipe. You see it starting to get sort of crumbly and lumpy. Okay, see, it's just got little lumps in it. That's what we want. Gradually adding it to our liquid mixture. All right, when I said that we mix it gradually, there's a reason for it. If you put all of your dry ingredients in at one time, you're going to have large clumps. And this way, a little bit of time, it's smooth. Too thick for that. Now, if you notice, I've switched from my whisk to my spatula. It gums up in the whisk and you can't stir it, so you have to have a spatula to mix it with. You just continue working it until all your flour is worked in. The final point here, we're probably going to have to get in it with our hands. It's coming together good. I'll get in it with my hands and just kind of get it kneaded up into a ball. You just turn it and knead it. You don't want to overwork it. So when you think you've got it about all mixed in, then we're going to divide it in half. clear plastic wrap. We're going to wrap it. Okay, after I do this, I will wrap the other half, and I will put them in the refrigerator, and they will cool for 30 minutes. This makes them more pliable. The liquid is all out of these. I'm going to check them to see if I might need to add a little more. If they're ready to mash, then we'll be through with that stage. Okay, these are well done. I'm just breaking them up into pieces so there won't be big chunks. I'm using my same pastry cutter. They're ready. We just want the big chunks chopped up. And then the final stage, we'll put about 3 tablespoons of butter in the fruit. This just makes your fruit mixture just a little bit richer. All right, we just sit there and let it cool while we're waiting on our pie crust to cool down. All right, my pie dough has been in the refrigerator. It's required time. It's been over 30 minutes, but that's okay. We'll take one out at a time. It's nice and cool, so it's workable. This is just all-purpose flour. You flour your surface. If you have any questions about this recipe, please leave them in the comments section and I will get back to you. Thanks to everyone that has subscribed. We will have more recipes coming in the future. Kind of hand press it out just a little bit. A little flour on top. And a little flour on the rolling pin. This rolling pin has been in the family for probably close to 100 years. It was my mother-in-law's. And I'm well on in years also, so it's got to be at least 100 years old. It's a family treasure. When it starts acting like it wants to stick, you just add a tiny bit more flour. You want your pie crust, unless you like a real thick crust, roll it out to about 1/8 of an inch. Is a good crust. Let me hold it up and show it to you. See, it's just a good pliable thickness. Now my favorite crust cutter is the lid off of my cookware. It's perfect to the small pot in my cookware. That was going to be kind of lopsided, but we'll use it anyway. I'm just going to lay these over here on my wax paper. And then we're just going to do the same thing with this one. Okay, all of my scrap pieces that I had left, I've worked them up, I've cut them out, and I'm down to this one last piece. So the farther you get down, the tougher the crust is going to be, but you're not wasting your crust. Okay, so that's all of our crust. This is the mess. You can tell I've been making fried pies. As the old saying goes, well, you've got all this cleaned up now for the next stage. Now we're ready to put our filling in our crust. You want it in the center. Leave your edges free because you're going to have to seal. Just take a fork. That's one. This is the easy part. See, aren't they pretty? We just do that till we've got them all filled and they'll be ready to fry. Okay, we're ready for the last stage, and that's frying these little boogers. We're using just vegetable oil. And we're going to heat our skillet to medium heat. All we're going to do is just brown them because they're fully cooked except for the crust. The browning cooks the crust. Okay, we're ready to put these in the skillet. See, our oil is just bubbling enough to you notice I use a spatula. I don't want to use my fingers because if you drop one, you're going to get burned. Browning around the edges. They're starting to brown there, but I look for the browning here. Do this and check them, and they're getting ready. I use 2 spatulas to turn them for the same reason. I don't want them plopping down in there and burning me. Now let that side brown. After I take these out, I'll just repeat the process till I've got them all. I may have to add a little more oil because they soak up the oil, but that's the only thing that you might have to do. I believe that little booger's ready. And you drain them on a rack. Just doesn't take much to cook them because that crust cooks fast. That's a nice, pretty gold crust, so I've got my heat just about right. Dad, you ready?
I'm ready.